Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today we have the Yezdi Adventure right in front of me, and this video is gonna be a detailed review of this bike. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight into the video. First, let's start off with the design of the all-new Yezdi Adventure. Well, right from the front to the rear, this bike looks really good, and I personally loved the overall design of this bike. And also they have given a matte finishing on the tank, which looks and feels really premium. Many people has commented that this bike looks similar to that of the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and some people has said that Yezdi has copied the design from the Royal Enfield Himalayan. But what I can say is that this bike looks like an upgraded version of the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and it just matches the new era of adventure biking. So 10 out of 10 for the overall looks of this bike. The second thing which I'm going to speak about this bike is the engine. So the heart of this bike is an 334cc single cylinder liquid cooled DOHC engine, which just produces a max power of 30.2 PS and a max torque of 29.9 PS. This engine is mated to a 6-speed gearbox, which is again an added advantage of this bike. This engine is completely black coated, and it just gives a premium look to the overall engine. And once I start riding this bike, I will let you know about the engine response. The third thing which I'm going to speak about this bike is the tires and the brakes. So on the front they have given a 320mm larger disc, and on the rear they have given a 240mm disc. So this bike comes with dual channel ABS as standard, and they have given biber caliber braking system on this bike. So the bite of these brakes are decent enough. When you look on the tires, it's a super grippy tires from Seat. So the front one is a 90/90 section tire, and the rear one is an 130/70 section tire. So both these tires are tube tires, and it comes with spoke alloys as standard for better off-roading. There is no complaints about these tires because the grip of these tires are really good, and it just gives you enough confidence while you just take this bike to off-roading. The fourth thing which I'm going to speak about this bike is the suspension and the seating comfort. This bike comes with an 220mm long travel suspension on the front and a monoshock suspension on the rear. So the front suspension is good, nothing to complain about that, but the rear suspension is on the harder side. So if you just take this bike to long rides, that will be not an issue, it will be good. But if you just do off-roading, somewhat you will feel that the bike is kind of stiff. Apart from that, nothing to complain about this bike. It's not a major issue from my point of view, but Yezdi could have done something better on the rear suspension part. So that's what I felt. Speaking about the seating of this bike, it comes with an 815mm seat height. So if you just compare with its rivals like the Himalayan or the KTM 250 Adventure, the seat height is somewhat between these two bikes, because Himalayan will be having an 800mm seat height and the KTM 250 Adventure will be having 855mm seat height. So this 815mm seat height is somewhat good for me, because I'm 5.8 and both of my legs were completely planted when I sat on this bike. The sponge of this bike is kind of on the harder side. It's not soft or medium, it is an hard seat. So I'm not sure how much comfortable you will feel while you sit on this bike and do long rides for 7 or 8 hours. Maybe an customized seat will make you even more comfortable. That's what I personally felt. I have to take this bike to a longer ride, and then only I can tell you whether this seat is super comfortable or not. The fifth point which I'm going to speak about this bike is the exhaust note of this bike. This bike has a punchy exhaust note, and let's quickly listen to it. So that's the exhaust note of the Yezdi Adventure, and the exhaust looks really premium. It is perfectly inclined, and it looks good. Let's turn it off. So this is all about the Yezdi Adventure. Let's quickly hop onto the bike As soon as you hop onto the bike, it just gives you a big bike feel. And speaking about this tank, it's an 15.5 liter tank, and when it comes to mileage figures, it can easily return 25 to 30 inside city, and maximum it can give up to 32 kmpl on the highways. So it all depends on the way you are riding this bike. Let's take a look at the speedometer. So you turn it on, it just says hi, and everything lights up. We have the tachometer, we have the speedometer, below that we have the brightness, and here we have the fuel gauge. This is the gear position indicator, and on the bottom we have the time. This side we have the SD logo, and this will act as a navigation meter as well. So if you just connect your phone via Bluetooth to the bike, you can use it as navigation and other things. I really love the overall switch quality of this bike. Let's quickly take a look at the buttons here. On the right we have the ignition button, below that we have the hazard light button, and on the bottom we have the ignition button. On the left hand side, bottom we have the horn, and above that we have the indicator button. Here we have 4 buttons. So these 2 buttons will not be functioning now, but these 2 buttons will be working. So this S button is used to increase the brightness of the speedometer. So as soon as I click on this, you can see that the brightness increases from 25 to 50, 75 and 100. And this M button is used to toggle the things on the speedometer. So this is the odometer reading, and followed by that we have the trip A, trip B, the average mileage, and that's all. So we have covered everything about the all new SD Adventure, and it is time to ride this bike now. Okay, let's check the turning radius of the SD Adventure. Damn, the turning radius is so good. Wow, it's nice. As soon as I start riding this bike, I can easily feel the 30 PS power kicking out from the engine, but the bottom end torque is not that great. They could have done something even more better. If I'm riding this bike at low speed and on higher gears, say if I'm just riding at 30 kilometers per hour, and if I just put 4th gear, it just gives you some jerk. So the low end torque is not that good, but it just shines on higher RPMs. If you just twist the throttle, pull the bike to its limits, it can easily do that. In simple words, what I can say is that it's a Street Fighter engine which is placed on an adventure motorcycle, because for an adventure motorcycle, low end torque is really important. Only then you can do off-roading on extreme terrains, but this bike lacks on the low end torque, which I somewhat felt bad. But for highway cruising, it is super cool. Because of the taller gearing ratio, you can easily cruise at 100 to 110 kilometers per hour on this bike all day without any stress. And as I told already, the braking on this bike is decent enough. It's neither super good nor it's very bad. It's somewhat decent. If you just try to filter this bike on the traffic, you will somewhat feel difficult, because adventure bikes are not meant to do so. Oh god, this bike heats up a lot. I can literally feel the heat coming out from the engine. Maybe because this is a test ride bike, I think there will be too much of heating issues. The mirror visibility on this bike is super good. It just gives me a clear vision of the vehicles which are coming right behind me. And speaking about the clutch and the gearbox, I have to appreciate SD for providing such a good gearbox. It gives me good feel while doing upshifts and downshifts. And when it comes to clutch, the clutch is not super light, but it is far better than the Royal Enfield Himalayan. This bike is available in 3 colors. One is silver and another one is black, and the third one is Camo Ranger. And the price starts from 2.3 lakhs and it ranges up to 2.55 lakhs. So let's come to the conclusion of this video. Should you need to buy the SD Adventure? What I will say is that if you're a guy who is going to take this bike for longer rides, you can definitely buy this bike, because for longer rides It just gives you good amount of comfort, and it just looks and feels premium as well. But if you are a guy who's lot more interested to do off-roading rather than doing long rides, for those people I will not suggest the Yezdi Adventure because of the poor low-end torque. I will not suggest this bike. Apart from that, the accessories cost and other things is similar to that of the Royal Enfield Himalayan. If SD proves that this engine is highly reliable, and if they improve their service network, then I'm pretty much sure that SD Adventure will be the talk of the town. So with that, I'm ending this video over here, guys. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. If you have any doubts regarding the Yezdi Adventure, please let me know on the comment section below. I will try to answer every question possible. So see you guys on another video. Till then, ride safe, wear helmet, take care, bye bye.